you're watching, as many of us are, and Columbia released a statement today, which I found interesting, and it's a little bit more complicated. Back then, you knew that it was a direct line. You knew which companies, which universities were funding South Africa, whether it was
Yeah.
ExxonMobil. Like we remember, these are the companies we gotta boycott. Now with these ETFs, EFT, what is it? The mutual funds and all the different
NFTs,
ways.
yeah.
You got a lot of things invested in a lot of things, and if you are investing, you don't even know. Sometimes these universities have 1,000 companies that they're in one bucket. And to pull the thread, well, Columbia announced today, issued notices to all of the students on the campus. They got tents out in Columbia, and this is Harlem, y'all, too. So there's the other thing going on at the same time. But they are demanding that they vacate by 2 p.m. So that's already happened. I don't know if it's already cleared out. But the president, in her statement, she asked the protesters to voluntarily disperse. And she said that there's external actors, which I'm sure there's always hostile people bringing a pallet of bricks into a situation or knocking out windows when they aren't even part of it. She said it's contributed to a hostile environment around the university gates, and it's become a noisy distraction for the students who want to come to class. The commencement is May 15th, she said, and we also do not want to deprive thousands of students and their families and friends of a graduation ceremony. Well, people in the Gaza Strip don't have a school to go to. So if you're gonna be inconvenienced, I don't know if this was the right messaging, Miss. But I'm gonna keep going.
Mhm.
And she said if they do not disperse, they will be. She's threatening to suspend them. And she said, and the university will not divest from Israel. This is what she said. So that not only are we not divesting, but you stay out there past this time, we may suspend you as well. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that these things don't work anymore. These old tactics of disperse or else, they don't know who they're talking to. They haven't caught up with this generation. I haven't caught up with this generation, but like these kids don't give a fuck. They're like, this degree, you're gonna take this degree. Like what when I'm already so in debt, when climate change is burning my world down, when my parents can't, a lot of, generational wealth for most people is out of reach anyway. But, as far as like inheritances, like we don't, they're saying we don't have anything for you to take. So go ahead, like give me what you got, because you're gonna suspend us, you're gonna expel us. Okay, this degree that I'm not gonna be able to do shit with anyway. So I think they picked the wrong ones, and they haven't realized it yet.
There's been a lot of commentary about this generation that they are clueless. They're lazy and they're there. But we're finding out another story.
Yeah.
And I think to your point, they're also fed up. They're also
Fed up.
fed up. This is the Amanda Gorman. This is the what's the young lady? The how dare you, Smith?
Um,
What the climate change?
uh,
Greta Thunberg. Yes,
Greta
thank you.
Thunberg. Yes. When I'm
Yes,
thinking
this
of
is
what's
how
her name,
dare
Mari,
you. Thank you.
Mari and
Thank you, Smith.
Flint. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is
they
this is the
sit
Parkland
them.
kids. This is that generation's really not having it. And they've seen some things. They've seen cops run away in Uvalde, Texas from protecting their lives. The gun, nobody has the fortitude to actually pass legislation that will make it safe for them to go to school. You're absolutely right. And now they're in college where it costs way too much to have a degree that there's no guarantee you're going to ever make that money back.
Yeah.
You're
No,
right.
you
You're
can't.
right.
I think that the so-called American dream has always been American pipe dream, right? So, but the hallucination of it has just been dissolving and dissolving, and you can't trick these kids anymore. You can't trick them into work hard and it'll pay off, and all that stuff. Like they've seen that that's not true. They've seen their parents. I've got a couple friends with teenage children. They started a little younger, and they're like, they see their parents are broke. Their parents are around 40, and they're like, our parents are broke. My parents have been working my whole life, and are struggling. So no, I think that the old tricks don't work. The whole you know we don't have anything else for you to take from us. So and they're furious, like you said. These are the Parkland kids. This is the school shooting generation. They which, not to say that it didn't start in mine, because I remember Columbine, but it's escalated to the point where like this is their reality. And they're furious. I think they're furious, and they should be.
So if you're a college president right now, because first before these protests, it was the Harvard president lost her job, anti-Semitism on this is beyond that. Now we're in the phase of the world is watching a genocide. We're watching it on television, is being televised, even though there's a lot, of course, we're not seeing all of the gory details, but we know, and it's now, I never thought I would live long enough to see the ability to be able to have this conversation, because we couldn't have this conversation 5 years ago.
Nope.
We probably couldn't have this conversation 2 years ago.
Nope.
But we're having it today, and it is widespread. And now that I think that it hit the college campuses, something's got to change. And my only concern is that I can't vote for Joe Biden as if Donald J. Trump is going to do anything different. His son-in-law said, that's some nice beachfront property that these folk, we need to clear it out. You're mad now? Like, when there's total annihilation of that whole entire area and the people in it under a Trump regime with no concern or care for humanity, what do you think is going to happen differently? Like, we don't have that conversation enough. And I get the visceral feeling, I can't vote for genocide, Joe, blah, blah, blah. But what do you think Trump is? There's a binary choice at this point. Like, we got to have that honest conversation. Let's be adults.
I feel like it's so difficult because even before October, like, this isn't the only place that Biden has shown that I don't know, that things that haven't changed since Biden got elected after Trump. There's still kids in cages at the border. Some of these main things that I think liberals were organizing around, of like, this would never happen under, I remember the kids in cages, white women like myself were up in arms over that, just this was our one, thing that they were, furious about. And Biden hasn't changed that, so I understand why it is difficult for people, knowing that Biden has been so brazen in his support of Israel. And then, the little BS that it's kind of like the presidential equivalent of what Colombia's president is doing, right? Like, if you do this or else. I don't know. I just feel like Democrats are always, carrot or sticking us. And I'm
so what do you do in that situation? Like, I mean, it's sitting home can't be the option. 866-801-8255. We're in a particular time in history that we will be remembering for centuries to come. I think generations to come will be like, something happened. Yes. And it's not just about being on the right side of history or the wrong side of history. I think, this shouldn't be stick your finger in your mouth to see which way the wind is blowing. There should be a moral compass inside all of you to determine right and wrong. And it's not just about your voting choices, because it goes beyond. It's not going to be just in November that your choices are going to reverberate. As we saw in 2016, those choices ended up with 3 Supreme Court justices that took away reproductive rights, took away affirmative action, took away more to come, fill in the blank. That was a choice that was made by a lot of people. Third party, Jill Stein, not voting because of super predator. That's fine. But this is the impact. Not a pandemic plan. We didn't have a pandemic. So many tens of thousands of people died that shouldn't have died because the previous president left a whole dossier on what to do if there was a pandemic, because he was dealing with Ebola. This president threw it away. Not enough PPP and all of the other stuff.
Fired all the scientists. Not only did he not use the plan, but he fired them all. Yeah. People are furious about their taxes this year. And these what we're seeing right now, everybody's, like, what happened, Biden? It's like, no, this is Trump's tax plan. So I totally agree. I totally agree. It is very difficult and infuriating that these are our choices, right? Like, that's the real problem here, is that, we have this 2-party system, neither of which has our best interests at heart.
They have their best interest. I'm watching this Ben Franklin. Michael Douglas has this Ben Franklin docuseries. It's not a docuseries. It's fiction. I think it's fiction rooted in some fact about how Ben Franklin went to France to try to get them into the, to fight for America against the Brits in the Revolutionary War. And all I'm thinking is, but the Africans that are there though. What about the Africans?
What about
Like, so I'm having this internal conversation, but at the same time, you're seeing geopolitically how France and England didn't get along, and there's all of these machinations that this government to this day, their allies that have nothing to do with you and me, Olivia A. Cole, has nothing to do with the people listening. It has to do with our position as America in the world. And what has happened, I think America has no longer, we might be a military superpower. People still afraid of our nukes because we're the only nation to have dropped two on somebody. So, we're not the one to F around with as a nation, but as a nation morally, we've lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm. And I don't know how we get it back if we ever do. 866-801-8255. But let's have that conversation. Olivia Cole is here. And I want to know if you have a child on a campus right now, what are you telling them? What are you telling your child in terms of protests? Are you telling them like Debbie Allen's daddy? Like y'all, you and Felicia better keep your asses out of it. Debbie Allen was like, I'm going to be protesting. Don't tell daddy I'm out here protesting. So, you telling them to sit down because it costs too much, or you telling them something else? And it does cost a lot. If you're bearing the burden, you put away your hard-earned dollars, put it in that fund for your child to go get an education, and they may get suspended or thrown out.
Again, this is another, once again, like this is a place where the power imbalance of, these colleges, these universities should not have this much power over people's lives, especially when, a lot of these big universities are just hedge funds anyway, like these are just places for, kids are customers, right? This is tuition that, you can't just ban them. If you're going to turn your college into a business, if you're going to make universities a business, then you can't just, you got to get out of here. I thought the customer's always right in America is what I thought.
Listen, but that's been the illusion, Olivia. Olivia Cole is here. Author, that's been the illusion that it was not a business, that it was an academic bastion of where children, young people come to find and discover and develop themselves. It has always been a business. I told anybody who's been my student, Alexa is here right now, first day of class, this is a business. Get out in 4 years. Don't spend time here doing different majors. It doesn't matter. Nobody ever asked me my GPA. Get in and get out. Don't waste your parents' money, or worse, waste your money and time thinking you're getting a liberal. I don't even know what a journalism degree is going to get you. That's a speech I give day one. I don't know what this is.
I'm glad somebody's telling them, because,
I have to.
Yeah.
There's no job waiting for you when you get out,
Nope.
So here's what you need to do. Get as many internships as possible. Make friends with the professors that have freaking connections like this one, and get busy. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, major in chemistry or something that's really valuable. 866 or, biology or something, be a doctor. But if you're a liberal arts degree, get in and get out. Don't waste your time and money, because this is a business. Every credit, we were charging at Hunter for internships. Like, you had to pay. I was like, y'all on some BS, because I was internship coordinator. I was like, wait a minute.
Charging
children gotta pay.
Come on,
get
it's bad enough when they're unpaid, let alone paying for them. That's